Hey, what's going on, guys? This is JD Moon, and I'm coming at you with another Magicka DK build video for the Wolfhunter patch. Currently in this patch, I'm sure you guys have seen there's a lot of assholes running around super fast being douchebags. So I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to release a meta fighting build for all you guys out there who have a problem catching that pesky little douche running really fast with Swift on his jewelry and losing all that damage that he thought he was gaining so much for by switching to Swift. As you guys all know, I think that Swift is a complete piece of shit trait. I think it sucks, and there's much better ways of getting that kind of speed out of other avenues that are not going to lose you a bunch of damage in the process. So what I did was I went ahead and I created a build that I had been molding over for quite some time. I actually screwed around with it since its release. I want to say probably a year ago. The main piece of the set, for quite some time. I really enjoy it. It is super fun to play, and I think you guys are gonna like it too. You're gonna do massive damage, big fat leaps, as well as be extremely fast. So you're getting all the benefits that Swift would give you, with a really good uptime on it as well, while also getting the benefits of not losing the damage by switching your traits out for that shitty fucking trait. Okay, so anyways, let's go ahead and dive into gears. So what we're gonna be looking at right now in this build video, we're gonna be going over gear, skills, stats, and CP. Okay, as well as I will show some footage and show you guys a little bit of what you can do in the build to kind of set off any haters that think it's going to suck, because it's actually a lot of fun. It's really cheap to make, so don't worry, all you guys out there who are building on a budget. You will be able to build this build. It's going to be fairly cheap to go ahead and get that created for you. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at what we got on. So we are using our staple in this build, which is going to be our light armor blood spawn helm set, and we are running one impin there as well as one sturdy. Both of these pieces are going to have max Magicka on them. We are running shulk on the shulk on the chest. Let me go ahead and change this shield out real quick, because that is supposed to be on the back bar. Alright, so looking here, we are going to be running two shulk pieces on the chest and legs. Both these are going to be heavy, so it's going to be a 5-2 build, as well as we're going to be running well fitted on these, and I will explain as to why we're running well fitted on these. So now the other piece of shulk, we're going to have one jewelry trait changed over to arcane. Now for those of you who are not able to trait change it over to arcane, a healthy one will work. You're going to lose a little bit of damage, but healthy is fine for now until you can go ahead and get that changed. Now you're going to be running two swords on the front bar of shulk, okay? And so what these are going to do is they're going to really increase our damage. When I'm running shulk, I always like to have decisive on both front and back bar. It's going to really increase the ultimate gen that we're going to be getting from running shulk by itself. Now naturally our main hand would ideally be a Nirnhone weapon, but unfortunately I'm not able to trait change that right now. I just don't feel like spinning the stones. I've got other builds I'm working on. But if you want to min-max this build out and get as much damage as you can, go ahead and trait change that this sharpened sword right here over to Nirnhone, and you'll be able to go ahead and achieve that. As well as on the back bar, we are also running shulk. I am running a reinforced shield because this build is in light, 5 light, so I prefer reinforced on that back bar. If you want to run a sturdy one there, that's fine. If you want to run impin, that's also fine. I'm not too keen on impin. I've done the math on it, and I just don't think crit resist is really that important. So I like, as long as you're over 1,000, you're in a good spot in my opinion. We are running a decisive axe on the back bar, and that's going to be for our 5th piece of shulk, as well as that axe is going to be decisive. So like I said, you want to make sure to run decisive on both bars. Okay, it's going to be a really big crucial part of the build to keep those ultimates up and allow you to really play the build the way it's supposed to be played. Now, for the meat of the build and what is making this build really fun and really awesome is we're using Smugglers, okay? What Smugglers is it's going to give us max Magicka, Magicka recovery, spell damage, and whenever we drink a potion, we have Major Expedition up for 30 seconds, okay? This is going to increase our movement speed by 30%. This is a really, really good set. It's overlooked a lot. And I think people are like, oh, I'm going to run Swift, not realizing that you can achieve the same thing out of a set and not lose the damage. So now for those of you guys who don't know what Shulk is going to give us maximum health. It's going to give us 127 spell damage at gold as well as 823 spell critical. And it's going to give us minor heroism up 100% of the time that we're in combat. This is going to work really well with entropy on our back bar. Entropy is going to allow us to stay in combat all the time. Okay, so we want to definitely keep running that entropy. Like I said, it's going to give you that in combat, which is going to keep that alt gen constantly going. So you're going to be popping off leaps all the time while running like a madman. Okay. So let's kind of head and jump into what we have on the jewelry here. We're running 2 Smugglers rings. Now, the biggest reason why I wanted to release this build this weekend, and I've been rushing really fast to try and get it out, is because Smuggler rings are on the vendor this weekend, gold, so you have the ability to go buy them with AP or gold if you want, and you can go ahead and get those gold pieces, you know, right out of the gate, so that way you don't have to go searching for them or upgrade them, because upgrading to gold is extremely expensive. And as well as those of you who don't have Smugglers, that's going to give you 2 pieces right there for AP and get your build already started on the building process. Now Shulk, like I said, this set's really cheap. It shouldn't cost you much. I don't know a whole lot of people that have ran it really since Homestead. But I definitely suggest getting it. It's super good on Magicka, and it works really well with a multitude of sets. So between the Bloodspawn and the Shulk, you're going to be building Ultimate a lot, as well as running Dual Wield. It's going to give us a really high burst potential. And so then I'll go ahead and explain what we're going to be using for abilities to kind of put that burst potential up a little bit higher and really get you into a place that you need to be to achieve the kind of damage that we're going to want to achieve. So now diving into stats, all these stats are going to be unbuffed here. So while we're looking at stats, actually let me go ahead and just remind you guys we're running full max Magicka glyphs on the armor, okay? We are running 2 damage glyphs on the jewelry with 1 reduced cost. If you want to run 3 damage glyphs, that's fine. I don't suggest it because you're going to be really hurting for sustain. I prefer the 2 and the 1 for this build. I think that's perfectly min-max to really give you the precise amount of sustain that you're going to need. Now, what you're going to do is when you get down to about a quarter Magicka, you want to get out, run, and I'll explain in CP what sprinting is going to really do for us. So you're going to want to dodge roll as little as possible, but this is min-max to where you can go ahead and dodge roll quite a bit to really save on that stam if need be. We are running an impin piece. I am running a reinforced sash, as well as 2 well-fitted, 1 more impin, a sturdy piece in case I have to block, and then another piece of impin. Okay. Now diving into weapons real quick, what we have on the weapons. So I'm running a flame damage enchant on the main bar. We want this to proc a lot, and that's because that's going to really help us sustain, especially since we're running 2 2 spell damage glyphs on the jewelry. So this is going to be a really important part of the sustain for the build. Now, on the offhand, we are going to be running the weapon damage glyph. So that way, if you know you're going to be fighting somebody, you can get in there, you can get them with a nice heavy attack, proc both enchants, then go ahead and just hit them with the combo and blow them up, okay? And then on the back bar, we're going to be running a reinforced shield. That's going to give us we're going to be doing max Magicka there. And then we are running decisive. I have disease damage, so that way if you're fighting a guy who's just got retarded ass healing, you can just pop him with a disease, get that major defile on him, and say, bye, you son of a bitch, go fucking quit being a chode. Now, moving on, let's go ahead and dive into stats. So stats on the front bar, we're looking at 37.6k max Magicka. Let me just go ahead and make sure we're on the front bar. Yes, we are. That's going to give us 23k max health. This is a hit and run build, so having 23k max health is fine. If you get to a position where you're just going to get blown up, you're going to get blown up anyways. You're in light armor. This whole build is designed to kite and run and be an asshole. That's the whole design of the build. We are running 15k stam. It's more than enough. You don't need any more, especially since we're getting additional regen from blood spawn, so that puts us in a really good position. We have 861 Magicka recovery with 373 health recovery. We do not want to be a vampire on this build, and I'll also explain that to you in CP as we go diving in a little bit further into the meat of the build. Unbuffed, we have 24k or 2400 spell damage. We are at 45.7 max, or I'm sorry, spell crit. We want to be around this spell crit because this build is going to be about getting in, doing damage quickly, and getting the fuck out. Our resistances are relatively low on the front bar. We have 16k spell resist with 10k physical resist. We have 1474 critical resistance, which is fine. Don't need any more than that. Now, for the boon, we are running the Apprentice. Okay, this is going to give us more spell damage and allow us to burst somebody down. And we are running tri-stat food, as well as you're going to be wanting to run tri-stat pots, I'm sorry, tri-pots, as well as, if you need to, you have Essence of Immovabilities with Detect on them. So that's going to allow you to take out a Nightblade that's being a fucking nuisance. And then if you really need it, we have just regular tri-pots, and move pots just in case you need to go ahead and get, so you got a DK on you, it's just CCing the shit out of you, you can just pop that and get the fuck out. Okay, so moving on here real quick. Let's go ahead and look at stats buffed up on the back bar. I'm going to go ahead and punch this in real quick. We're going to punch in the igneous weapons. Let's go ahead and fire that up. And so you guys can see the spell damage. So, buffed up spell damage without a weapon proc is going to be 2896. With the weapon proc up, you're going to be around 3200 spell damage. So you're going to be hitting really fucking hard. So looking at the damage here, look at the whip, 10k. Our leap is at 19k. You're hitting really hard, and then with engulfing flames, you're going to be smacking the piss out of somebody. So, moving back into stats, let's go ahead and buff up back bar real quick. Kung Pao Chicken Wang Chung. We're going to go ahead and put the Mages Guild Structured Entropy on the back bar so you guys can see the health. Now, back bar. Let's go ahead and buff up one more time. Back bar, we're looking at 37.9k max Magicka. We're not sitting too much off of that on the front bar either. Now, going through here. Our buffed up physical resistance is going to be 19.6 as well as 24.7. Now let's buff up and look back at the front bar here. Front bar, we are looking at 21k spell resist with 16k physical. You are relatively weak if you get caught, so do your best to try not to get caught. You're going to be wanting to be on the move and on the move a lot. What's really nice about the speed of this build, if you guys haven't seen it, you know, you can see I'm running super fast. See how fast we are as a Mag DK? It's a lot of fun. Anyways, so what's really nice about having this major expedition up for 30 seconds is, like, let's say if we do have a stam user on us, they're not going to be able to hit us with all their light attacks, and their heavy attacks are going to be missing a lot. So it's going to be really important for not taking quite as much damage as well. So let's go ahead and dive into skills, what we're running here for skills. So we are running Flame Lash. We are also running Burning Embers, Engulfing Flames, and Fossilize, as well as Inner Light on the front bar for that increased damage with Leap on the front bar as well. So this bar setup is going to have really high burst potential. So ideally what you're going to want to do is open up with Engulfing Flames. If you can, get an Embers on them. If not, just hit them with a Fossilize. Whip them one time, set them off balance, hit them with a Leap, and then hit them with the Whip proc, and they will die. Okay? You will pretty much kill anybody with that combo. Okay? That combo hits really hard, and it hurts really bad. Moving to back bar, we are running Quag. We're also running Reflective Plate. This is going to give us immunity to snares and immobilizations for 2 seconds. It's going to be really crucial to the build, allowing us to get the fuck out of a bad situation. Volatile Armor is going to be our main buff. We're going to need this up at all times. It's also going to increase our healing by 12%. So this is a really important buff. Make sure it's on your bar. Structured Entropy is really good. It's going to give us that major sorcery, as well as keeping us in combat when we're on the outsides of a battle. Okay, just looking for our opportunity to jump in, smack somebody, and get the fuck out. As well as it's going to give us a nice little hot over time. and it's also going to give us a bigger heal with coagulating blood on the back bar. So this is going to be a mainstay on the back bar for this build, as well as cauterize. Cauterize is going to increase our crit on the back bar, which is going to make our make our coagulating blood heal for more, as well as giving us a nice little hot that we're going to have every 5 seconds. We are running Meteor on the back bar. If you want to take that off, the actual skill that I was having the most fun with, that I found the most useful on this build, was Spell Wall. I really like Spell Wall versus Meteor. I have Meteor on there in case we were fighting like a Templar, somebody that we're having trouble with. So you just use Meteor, drop it on them, and you can nuke them fairly well, as long as you can burn them down pretty quickly. And with this build, you really shouldn't have too much of an issue burning somebody down, so it works out really well. But Spell Wall is a really good defensive alt. It allows me to get sustain when I need it, as well as get, you know, really good defensive damage for when I'm fighting, you know, a group of people. Okay, and I'm outnumbered, and I'm doing my best to kite, fight, you know, it's gonna really give me that ability, as well as, since we're blocking all incoming attacks, we're also building ultimate the whole time that ability's active as well. Okay, so something else to think about. Now let's go ahead and we're gonna dive into CP and kind of go over how we got this CP implemented properly and working really well. So what we're doing on the apprentice tree, we're running 4 points into Spell Erosion, 56 points into Elemental Expert to give us 12% increased magic damage, Frost Shock, and Flame damage, as well as 20%, which is 56 points into Elfborn to increase our critical damage. It's going to be really crucial on this build, considering we're going to be critting a lot, as well as increasing our heals. We are running 32 points into Bless, increasing our healing done by 8%. Now we do have 56 points into Master at Arms. It's going to be really important for our high burst potential, so you're going to want that as well. And then we are also running 56 points into Thaumaturge, just to give us a little bit of extra dot damage in case we're in a extended fight. Moving on to the Steed, we have 51 points into Ironclad, 24 points into Resistant for a precise, exact 5% reduction on crit damage. We are running 51 points into Thick Skin to reduce the damage over time effects, any dots that's put on us, by 19%. We are doing a 43-43 split on Hardy and Elemental Defender as well. We are running 5 points into Expert Defender to reduce light and heavy attacks by 3%. Works really well for Stamina Nightblades, Magicka Nightblades, and also Sorks. It's a really nice thing to have. As well as 43 points into Quick Recovery to increase all of our healing received by 10%. Most important healing CP there is in the game. Make sure you have at least 10% in that tree on every build that you do. We're running 1 point into Siphoner. That's just going to give us that little debuff. It's not really that crucial or important to the build. It's just a nice little, you know, perk for that 1 point. We're running 27 points into Sprinter to give us a 16% reduced sprint cost, 56 points into Warlord. This is going to reduce our break free cost by 20%. Super crucial in that stamina sustain. As well as we're running 56 points into Arcanist to increase that Magicka recovery by 12%. 32 points into Stamina recovery, as well as 32 points into Health recovery. So that's going to give us a full 120 in the Lover, which is going to give us Wind Running. Wind Running is super crucial to the build. It's going to give you 10% increased health and Magicka recovery while you're sprinting. So this is going to be super important for sustain, and it just synergizes so well with the playstyle of this build, considering 90% of the time you're going to be sprinting. So it's super nice. You're going to be sprinting away, waiting for that leap to come back up, leaping in, killing somebody, sprinting away, leaping in, killing somebody. It's kitey. It's just what I did, the build that I made to strike back at all those assholes that have been pissing me off this patch, okay? So this is my version of Swift, just more damage and not being retarded and changing and putting a shitty trait on my jewelry. 56 points into Tumbling. We're going to be doing a lot more dodge rolling. So this is going to be a little bit more crucial and than Shadow Ward. We're not going to be blocking a lot. You're not sitting in a fight holding your ground. You're running like a bitch and then turning around and killing people. That's what you're doing in this build. So let's go ahead and dive back over to gear real quick. Now guys, if you want to run all these well fitted, I completely understand. If you want to run 5 well fitted, go ahead. I just put on Impin, some reinforced, you know, what I could get my hands on. I already had 2 well-fitted shulk because I had been, like I said before, play testing this build in previous patches, but it wasn't where I wanted it to be because I didn't really need the movement speed like I was when I'm solo playing in this patch. So this is going to be a very big solo play build. It's for people who are going to an area and you don't want to go sit in there and hold your ground and die and then have to run back and then die and then run back. This is going to give you the ability to get into a fight and get out of a fight. That's the beauty of this setup. So what's nice about Smugglers is it really helps us out with where DK lacks. We lack movement speed. We suck at moving fast. And so without having to change our pots, we're able to achieve that with a set. So by all means, guys, run it. It's super fun. I hope you guys enjoy the Smuggler build. I know I have. I just like smacking it to those Swifty guys that think they're going to run away like a bitch, and you just chase them down, smack them with a leap, and they die. It's pretty funny to watch. It's really funny when they lay there on the ground and they're looking at their death recap and they got the piss knocked out of them with a 17K leap. That's pretty funny to watch. So anyways, guys, like I said, I really hope you guys enjoy the build. Do go out there, play with it, have fun, beat people in the face. Yeah, I know I like it. Make sure to be running tripods, guys. And the reason why I say this is because when you're running with the tripod, you're going to be getting a 30% increased health recovery and Magicka recovery while you're running with the tripod up. So keep that in mind. Anyways, thanks once again. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, guys, at the bottom of the page. As well as I will be posting this video up on dropping standards for you guys to go ahead and take a look. I'm going to be doing a big update on the website on Monday of this upcoming week. So please stay tuned for that and check it out. Hope you guys enjoy. Once again, I'll see you guys out there on the battlefield. Thanks so much for watching.